This question is asking us to redraw this. First of all, it's really helpful if you have this graph in front of you physically. And what we want to do is find the gradient of this. So the gradient is the rise of a run. And so for any straight line, we get y is equal to mx plus c. This thing m here is our gradient. Okay, so if you were to put a ball over here and we were to measure the gradient there, we would get something like this. It's positive. So the ball would roll back. Okay. Now, if we were to put the ball here, all right, it's negative and it slopes down on the ball. We'll go to the right. So that is minus. But if we put the ball carefully balanced right at the top, its gradient is 0. All right. Now, drawing graphs sucks, first of all. It takes a bit of skill, but really it's just playing dot to dots. So there's a couple of key points that we need to know. And we're going to put them in as dots, and then we're going to connect the dots. And connecting the dots is so much easier. So literally, the key points that we need are the ends. What happens here and here? And then the other things are what happens here and here, and at this special point in between them. So let's talk about the last two dots. So what's the gradient looking like here? Well, because it's going down, it's negative. So we can say that our gradient is going to be minus. The next one is we ask, what's the gradient here? Again, it's minus. All right. So now let's talk about those other dots. These ones here and these ones here. Well, if we place the ball there, the gradient is going to be 0. So our y-axis should be 0 and 0. The next thing is there's this special point called an inflection. And this is where our gradient goes from negative, goes to positive, hits a maximum. Apologies, I'll draw that a bit better. So it goes up, hits a maximum, and then comes down. And at that point, that is where we have the maximum. So the other thing to do is you need to draw your arrows on the end of this to say that it goes on forever. And what we can see is that the blue one is the quadratic, so a cubic. So that's like a, y is equal to x to the power of a 3 sort of a business. And our guy that we've drawn, which is s prime of x, is equal to a x to the power of 2 sort of a business. So when graphing, you need to do your dots. Put the dots in first, then connect them, and life becomes very easy. Do not forget to put in your arrows, otherwise you will likely lose a mark.